A 22-year-old girl abducted, drugged and gang raped allegedly by 7 men, including one who had been stalking her for days.
एक का विकास नाम, एक का सुमित नाम है. सुमित मैंने और विकास उसका साथी है.
3 days after she went missing, her decomposed, mutilated body was found in an empty plot in the IMT area of Rohtak. Parts of her internal organs missing. Her head smashed with bricks, mutilated beyond recognition. A crime that could have been prevented had the police acted when the matter was first brought to light.
दिन पहले भी लड़कियों को आपस में यहाँ जाते होंगे तो उसको धमकी दी होगी.
They turned a blind eye again when the family tried to file a missing persons report.
हमारी मिसेज गई थी वहाँ रिपोर्ट दर्ज कराने, तो इतनी उनकी आजकल लेडीज़ों की कौन सुनाई करता है जी. ऐसे गरीब आदमी होते थे वैसे बातों में धमका फुसका के उनको ऐसे ही भेज देते हैं जी. तो उनका कोई सुनाई नहीं हुई थी उस टाइम.
Shockingly, the police is now attempting to justify the inaction by claiming that the victim's family had worked out a compromise with her stalker.
We acknowledge that there was a complaint which was given by the victim's mother in city police station, and there was a compromise also which was struck, and they did not want police action further.
And now this family has lost a daughter, but the chief minister of the state has nothing more to offer except hollow words promising action.
2 आदमियों को जो इसमें जिम्मेवार थे रोहतक के कांड के अंदर उनको पकड़ लिया है, और जो भी इस प्रकार की घिनौने कृत्य करते हुए मिलेंगे या पाए जाएंगे उनके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी.
So we ask the government of Haryana, will the officers whose incompetence cost a life be pulled up for shirking their responsibility? Mirror Now report.
This horrible case gets murkier and murkier as we discover from the details emerging today that the police not just dragged its feet but gave up an opportunity to save the girl in question. Remember, just yesterday, the girl's father was on this show talking about how his 20-year-old daughter, who wanted to work and build a home for her parents before she started her own life, was snatched away from him. His 20-year-old daughter, he said, he found without a head because she was brutalized in such a horrible manner. For our viewers who are tuning in, I apologize for bringing you such a gruesome story, but it's a gruesome story we must talk about. The fact that this girl's family had gone to the police, had complained that she was being harassed, complained that she was being stalked. The police then sent them away. We have the victim's father on camera saying, उन्होंने हमें धमका के हमें भगाया वहाँ से. That they did not take down our complaint, that they sent us away. We now have the police turning around and saying, yes, we acknowledge that the family had come to us, but they reached a compromise with the accused. What sort of verbal compromise can a girl's family have arrived at without the police's help? Is there a compromise when it comes to someone's life? Is there a compromise to harassment? Is there a compromise to stalking? Doesn't the police have a responsibility here? And the most shocking thing, viewers, is the fact that 5 years after Nirbhaya, there were very, very clear laws put in place that prevented police officers from doing exactly this. There is a clear law that says that if a policeman refuses to file an FIR, that he can be prosecuted and jailed for not filing an FIR. Simply for this reason. That law has become completely useless because nobody is following it, because nobody is implementing it. And now, worst of all, we're getting lip service from the government that keeps telling us that, oh, we are going to look into it, or we're going to give you justice as soon as possible, or we're going to make sure that no innocent goes to jail. What about the innocent that died, who was killed with a brick at the back of her head, who was run over by a car until she was no longer recognizable? Sharp instruments inserted into her, left for dogs to feed on. What about that innocent? When are you going to give us justice for that innocent? And it seems like the cops here are only protecting their own. They refuse to tell us who was the duty officer when the parents came in to file the FIR. They refuse to acknowledge that something has gone wrong. They refuse to, in fact, start an investigation. The response we've heard from the police so far is that there is a special investigation team looking into the crime. That same team will also find out if there was any sort of inadequacy on the part of the police. I think what we're staring at here, viewers, is another glaring piece of evidence that the police is not doing their job. And every time the police doesn't do their jobs, they put you and me at horrible and grave risk. They encourage people who break the law to do it because they have absolutely no fear, because you know you can pay the police off. And here we have a government that is refusing to acknowledge that it messed up, and it messed up desperately. Joining me on the show this evening, Sanjay Jha, national spokesperson of the Congress party. Renu Bhatia is the spokesperson of the BJP in Haryana. Yogita Bhayana is a social activist who works in the area of women's rights and safety in Haryana. Uday Sahay is the former DCP of the Delhi Police. Swapnil Kothari, managing partner, S. Kothari and Company. Sneha Mukherjee is an advocate of human rights law network, and Sujay, kantawala, senior advocate in Mumbai. Yogita Bhayana, I'm going to start with you. The evidence that emerges today shows us without doubt that the police messed up, Yogita. Without doubt that they messed up, and they did so repeatedly.
There is nothing new in this, where police goofed up, police messed up. This is very common when in all the cases where we go. First of all, they take it for granted that they are uneducated people. They can be taken for the ride. I mean, as he said, the wife had gone, especially women. They think, you know, they can just throw her out, you know, by just telling her, एक complaint लिख के दे दो और चले जाएंगे, देखते हैं क्या. Missing children. I also work with missing children and with the families. You know, they are not even treated well. Forget about filing their FIR, filing their complaint. There is a difference also. They don't even understand, because there is a problem with the sensitization. Even our public is so innocent and unaware about their rights. They can't even put their foot down. They think police is God and they need to please this khaki vardi God, you know. So they just get afraid. They sit there politely, you know. These are their rights. They don't know about it. So this is very unfortunate in our country, and this is exactly happened in this case. They thought they are poor people, they are uneducated, they don't know their rights. We will hush up the case. And they have done it. It is open and shut. This is actually manipulated by the police. Right. And there is nothing new I have seen in this, in all the cases I see. So there's nothing which is like
Let me bring in Sneha Mukherjee. Sneha Mukherjee is an advocate who was at the spot today interacting with the family. Sneha, what have you discovered?
I actually agree with Yogita, because we have been to Haryana as recent as last week, and this is the common story that we hear there. The police does not cooperate, the police does not want to hear to us, and the common word that we hear all the time is compromise. They are pushing us to compromise. And then there is also that angle of caste barrier that is prevalent to a very large extent in Haryana. So there are the Dalits, or the backward classes, the lower caste, and the dominant caste. So because of that, I think that affects the entire issue to a very, very large extent. So because most of these police people, or in fact, I would also add the other stakeholders in this whole issue, come from the dominant caste, they do not actually acknowledge the fact that the backward classes are being harassed in different ways. One major way being raped or gang raped in most cases.
I would also like to add, Faye, here is that these police personnel, they pay hefty price to get into the police job. You know, when they are only focused on recovering their invested money, I would say, and so they would like to focus on the creamy areas where they can make some money, and these are the headaches for them. You know, they don't want to entertain these kind of cases. Right. You know, they just want to shed away.
Sujay, let me present to you what we found so far. You know, what our reporter has found so far from our conversations. First of all, the parents have told us very clearly that they approached the police not once but twice and were turned away. Secondly, the police have acknowledged that the parents have come in to meet them and have turned around and said there was a compromise that was achieved. Thirdly, the fact that the police is refusing over and over again to give us the name of the person who was on duty in Sonipat, in the police station, when the parents had come in to file that complaint. It obviously shows that they're protecting their own, Sujay.
Yeah, and obviously this stinks of sort of a conspiracy and sends out a very wrong message that in case, for example, if you see a girl being harassed and the girl says that, look, I'm going to go to the police station and I'm going to lodge a complaint. तुम जाओ ना पुलिस में देख क्या होएगा पुलिस में जाके. If that is the attitude that is going to, and this kind of an approach by the police sends out that kind of a message. And let me tell you, Faye, in cognizable offences there is no question of a compromise. The law does not allow you to compromise in heinous offences. And if a woman who is going to the police station with the parents are turned away, then this is the worst kind of a thing that the police can do. The persons who are present and they have accepted the fact that these parents had come to lodge a complaint, they have to be located, they have to be charge sheeted, and an example has to be said that because this life could have been saved, you're absolutely right. How can they justify their action of not registering a complaint when a woman comes and says that I am being harassed, these people are stalking me? They are duty bound to register an FIR. They are duty bound to investigate. They are not doing a favor to anyone. So therefore, let this message be very clear through your channel, and I'm glad you are doing this debate, that the police all over India are bound by the law, that is IPC, CRPC, whatever they, and their police manual. They are supposed to act as per that. They are not doing a favor. The uniform that they have worn, they are supposed to honor that uniform. And therefore, there is no question that cop coming on TV and saying that there was a compromise. How are you concerned with that compromise?
And what
this is a crime against society.
What is this compromise? Sujay, when a police officer, let me take this question to Uday Sahay, who joins us now, former DCP Delhi Police. Mr. Sahay, when a police officer says that the family of the girl and the accused reached a compromise where they said we don't want any more formal police action, what does that mean? That to me means that the police officer in question told the family, क्या कर रहे हो आप ऐसे complaint क्यों file करेंगे? छोड़िए ना. This is what it sounds like, Mr. Sahay.
Absolutely. I mean, the police has bossed up, and there's no doubt about that in this particular case especially. And you can't defend the indefensible. I mean, the law is very clear that if somebody comes to you with a complaint like this, you are not supposed to impose, nor are you supposed to, facilitate a kind of compromise that they are talking about. So, if in a criminal law, I commit an offense against the other person, it's the case between the state and the person. So, there's nothing called out-of-court settlement provision here. And the argument itself, therefore, is quite faulty.
But this is not a check. This is not an offense like a bounce check where two people, private parties settle. This is a crime against society. Every such crime is against society.
Let me bring in now the representative of the BJP in Haryana, Renu Bhatia, who joins us. Renu Bhatia, yesterday we had Mr. Raman Malik, who joined us on the show. He made us a promise last night on this very show, at this very time, saying that arrests will be made, justice will be served. Arrests have not been made. I have very specific questions for you, Renu Bhatia, representing the government of Haryana. Question number one, why isn't the government looking into which police officer, which duty officer screwed up in this particular case and caused the death of this young girl? Why isn't the state government and the police looking into this matter specifically? Why not?
First of all, I would like to say that to bring up to your knowledge is that 2 people have been caught in this case and they are taken to the remand.
We knew that yesterday.
The parents have given 6 people's name again. So
well, Renu, if you're going to give us news, then allow me to do it. If you're going to give us news, allow me to do it. 2 people were arrested yesterday, after which the parents went back to the police and said, please, this is not something that was done by just 2 people. The autopsy doctor spoke to the press and said this was at least 7 people. The parents went back to the police and said, please, we will give you the names of 6 others that you need to look into. So it seems like the people investigating this crime are the parents of the victim and not the police themselves. The police has absolutely no business here taking credit for the questioning of these 6 people. This is the parents' request. No. So to turn around and say, yes, we're questioning 6 more people is not a point that either state or police should be taking credit for.
See, the people they've given names of, the parents have given names of 6 more boys, and the police is looking after those boys. They are going to arrest those boys also, and the 2 people.
Did you say looking after those boys?
They are taken into remand. Now, sorry?
Did you say looking after those boys? What does that mean? What does looking after those boys mean?
Police has taken them to remand, and those boys who are arrested will go to give us the knowledge of what they have been doing and the crime they created, which is really very sad. Now, I spoke to the SP Sonipat yesterday, and he told me that very soon, within 24 hours or 48 hours, he'll go for all 8 victims which are being to be caught
8
now.
Victims,
now
8 accused.
Parents have told.
And why haven't you spoken today to the SO?
But we spoke today to the SP. Let me play that bite one more time to our viewers. This is what the SP of Sonipat had to say to our reporter this morning. Can we play out the entire exchange between our reporter and we're getting that ready. Swapnil Kothari, we've talked about this a couple of times as well. This is the police that have botched up. This is Haryana that is turning into a rape center. It's a rape capital. It's happening over and over again because nobody believes that the police in Haryana are doing their jobs. They're constantly letting people off the hook. There is a complete disregard and disrespect for law and order because obviously the people who are supposed to be enforcing law and order are off doing their own thing.
Absolutely, Faye. The disrespect and the disregard for the law starts from top up, top down. There is right from the Chief Minister, Mr. Khattar, who makes odious statements to the effect that women should not be wearing inappropriate clothes. And if they want freedom, then they, where does it stop? To the extent of getting naked. Now, those 2 statements are abhorrent, absolutely barbaric. Then you have a BJP spokesperson, regardless of their names, doling out news to us and giving us information which we already know about, rather than, being very serious and sincere about what they need to be doing. I think one must look beyond one's nose as far as this is concerned and stir up our own conscience about it and take, a very gruesome rape into account. Now, the third aspect is about the police. Well, the police striking a compromise is, not new in this part of the country, simply because it's termed as compromise, but it must be intimidation. Police must have intimidated the parents of the girl who was alive at that time and who complained about stalking. Well, certainly the IPC and the CRPC have been put on the back seat, and most certainly the 2013 criminal law amendments, which talked about stalking as one of the major offences. Now, that is something which they should have registered a case right there and then itself when the girl complained about it.
Let me just play this out for our viewers. What this is a comparison of the 2 stories. On one side, we have the father of the victim who has just been through a really traumatic experience, telling us what happened. And on the other side, we have the SP Sonipat who tells us his version. Viewers, take a look at the 2 versions of the story and you'll realize that we have a very, very serious problem of safety for women in this country. Let's play out the comparative views.
हमारी मिसेज गई थी वहाँ रिपोर्ट दर्ज कराने, तो इतनी उनकी आजकल लेडीज़ों की कौन सुनाई करता है जी। ऐसे गरीब आदमी होते थे, वैसे बातों में धमका फुसका के उनको ऐसे ही भेज देते हैं जी, तो उनका कोई सुनाई नहीं हुई थी उस टाइम।
We acknowledge that there was a complaint which was given by the victim's mother in city police station, and there was a compromise also which was struck, and they did not want police action further. That is what our reports say, but the special investigation team will also look into this matter.
Swapnil?
Yeah, as far as these 2 versions, these are absolutely contradictory versions, and I would go with the victim's father here in this case, who tells you very clearly as to what has transpired. The cops' very, very bland statements clearly indicate that, there is no such report. According to me, there is no compromise report. Where is the report? Special investigative team should first try to quiz all the people who are there on duty or even off duty, who are there as part of the police department in that particular area, which is Sonipat, and try to find out. And from that, I think they can easily make out as to who was the officer on duty if they start quizzing them. If the SIT fails in this, then let's give this case to the CBI, as happened in Sheena Bora. When the police themselves botched it up, it's the CBI which came into the picture, and with continuous media barrage, I think certain truths, gruesome truths and unhealthy truths will come to light.
And to add to what Swapnil is saying, look at the sequence of events. The girl is harassed, they go to the police station, And when they go to the police station, then the police comes and says a compromise has been reached. Therefore, the police in fact should have investigated further that why this compromise, then why was the complaint made? So therefore, there is no question of any compromise. The police have, even if there was, assuming there was some kind of a truce, the police have to ignore it because these are crimes against society. And therefore, the police have to take action. The police have to investigate as to how and on what basis this kind of a sham and bogus compromise story is being trotted out. They have failed in their duty. This kind of lip service and lame excuses which is being given on TV are deplorable.
You know, and in fact, Uday Sahay, Sanjay Jha, I'll go to Uday Sahay first. The other detail that emerged yesterday when we spoke to the father of the victim, he said, when we went to report that our daughter was missing, the police had already registered a complaint from the family of the accused. The boy who had kidnapped her, the family of the accused had come in already and filed a complaint saying that they've taken our boy. This girl's family has taken our boy. This shows that the police was hand in glove there.
Well, I'm not aware of the facts of the case, so I would not like to comment on that. But what is surprising for me is that, you know, you have two situations. One set of policemen on the ground who are reluctant to register the case, even if the complaint is made, and then you have the district chief who is trying to defend that reprehensible act of his subordinate, which is very funny. I mean, how can a district superintendent of police speak about a compromise where there is no provision in the law for a compromise? And this should be flagged very clearly that, you know, first of all, they should fix the responsibility to give a strong signal that it's not going to be accepted. On the other hand, we see them defending their own boys, which is not going to work.
I completely agree with him. There is no compromise in the constitution for stalking and sexual harassment.
Absolutely.
There is a compromise in domestic violence cases where husband and wife is fighting, and there is a compromise where neighbors are fighting. There is no compromise in the law itself. How can he speak on, I mean, to the reporters like this? I think they are not only hands in glove, they are also uneducated cops there sitting.
Bhayana is right.
And I would like to add to this, as to where we talk about compromise in these cases, these are not as much compromise as it is threat to the family of the victim.
Absolutely.
Because they are being intimidated again and again, not by just the police, but also panchayats, the family members of the accused. And then they come between a choice where they can either seek justice or they can seek home, a safe home in the society.
You know,
So
let's you know, I want to bring in now Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, at the end of the day, law and order is a state subject. The law and order machinery in the state report to the Home Minister. The Home Minister in this case happens to also be the Chief Minister, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar. Let me point out, and I've been doing this for the last 2 days, that if we print out the lists of horrible, heinous crimes against women that take place in the state of Haryana, it will chill your blood, Sanjay Jha. Haryana is turning into the rape capital of this country.
Yeah. You know, Faye, I want to first tell you, I sincerely appreciate the fact that you're taking up this very tragic human story. I remember when it came into the public domain, you know, I heard about it, and you know, if for a moment you just kind of try and empathize with what the young girl went through in her last few minutes, I mean, it'll make you feel extremely disgusted and sick of what have we become as a society. You raise a valid point. I mean, you know, what I can gauge from this incident is that clearly, you know, end of day, somewhere the buck needs to stop. Somebody needs to take accountability. I mean, you know, I represent the political class in this country, and I will tell you, somewhere down the line, it's a massive failure of the entire, you know, political culture we have. Because in any other part of the world, the Chief Minister ought to be looking at doing nothing but resolving this issue, consoling the family, and making sure that such ugly incidents never happen again, no matter how impossible it may be. But you have to minimize this kind of crazy horror. You know, I agree with everything that all your panelists have said, and I will probably just say that, you know, as somebody who belongs to the political fraternity, if there's anything we can do, we will. I have told my party in Haryana that you should go and make sure that the state government does not function paralyze the state government till they deliver justice to a bereaved family. I mean, just think about it, Faye, that, end of day, if you find that in Rohtak, such an incident happens and it becomes like just another event after another week. You have taken it up for 2 days. Let me be honest, many people in
at this point, let me apologize to our viewers for one thing.
So the truth of the matter is...
Right, Sanjay. I know that this is a really harsh story to hear at night when you've come home to your family and your dinner. But it is so important for us not to give up on this girl because we owe it to her. Not to give up on her family because we owe it to them. As women in this country, we have to come together. We have to stand together as citizens at this point and say we will not allow Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar to get a decent night's sleep until this case has found its logical end. We will not allow anybody in the government of Haryana to rest until we find the logical end to this case. And we will annoy you every day. To the people who are handling the media within Haryana, know that we will send you a request for a guest every day until you close this case and make the arrests that are needed. In fact, before I go back to Renu Bhatia, let's play this out. This is the lip service that is being offered by the Chief Minister right now to the press every day for the last few days. These are the comments that we're hearing. Play that out.
तो कर रहा हूं, मैं इसकी निंदा करता हूं और जो इस प्रकार के कल्प्रेट होंगे बख्शे नहीं जाएंगे। देखिए, उसमें जो दोषी लोग हैं उनको पकड़ लिया गया है, 2 लोगों को हमने पकड़ा है और पुलिस उसमें बहुत एक्टिवली छानबीन कर रही है। जो भी इस प्रकार के घिनौने कार्य करने वाले जितने भी कल्प्रेट हैं उनको छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा और बहुत जल्दी इसके अंदर हम जो कोर्ट्स हैं, फास्ट कोर्ट जो होती हैं, उन कोर्ट्स के माध्यम से, जैसे पीछे एक घटना हुई थी जिसके अंदर कुछ लोगों को 7-6 साल की सजा भी हुई थी, ऐसे ही इन कोर्ट्स को यानी स्पीडी एक प्रकार की कार्रवाई करा करके और इनको कल्प्रेट्स को, दोषियों को दंडित किया जाएगा, इनको छोड़ा नहीं जाएगा। 2 आदमियों को जो इसमें जिम्मेवार थे रोहतक के कांड के अंदर उनको पकड़ लिया है और जो भी इस प्रकार के घिनौने करते हुए मिलेंगे या पाए जाएंगे उनके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी। ये घटना पहले भी कुछ महीने पहले हुई थी, जो गद्दी खड़ी गांव के अंदर एक युवती के साथ इस प्रकार की घटना हुई थी। उनके जो दोषी लोग थे उनको भी हमने सजा दिलवाई थी। फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट के ऊपर इस सारे केस का जो है प्रसूप किया जाएगा।
Lip service, lip service, lip service. Absolutely nothing there that should give you any confidence. If you're a woman who lives in Gurgaon or any other part of Haryana, you should lock everything, not just your doors and windows and your cars, but lock up your daughters because the Chief Minister of Haryana has no intention to keep them safe. Renu Bhatia representing the BJP in Haryana. Why did the Chief Minister of Haryana not visit the family yesterday? He had made a plan. He had told them that he would come and visit. The father of the victim was waiting for the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister changed his mind last minute and decided to return to his office. He has not paid his respects. He has not offered his condolences. Why not?
See, Mr. Souza, every day CM is already in touch with the family and the police of Sonipat.
But we've obviously proven to you that the police of Sonipat is hand in glove with the accused at this point. The police of Sonipat are not doing their jobs. The police of Sonipat are not doing their jobs. So the fact that you're telling me that the Chief Minister is in touch with the police of Sonipat does not give me any confidence at all, I'm afraid.
Police is already working on this. Police has already done a team for this work. Can I just please speak out?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Yeah. Police is already working on this. 2 people have been already caught and they are taken to remand. Other 6 people have been looked at and they'll be very soon taken to the police. And the CM has already said that this is really a very mind-breaking incident which shouldn't have happened in Haryana. And in future also we're trying. Fast-track courts are working on this so that
find the culprits, then your fast-track court will come. Find the culprits.
Punished seriously and others don't take into the action.
Ms. Bhatia, now can I intervene, please? I think doling out platitudes on national TV is not going to help. Your words and the tone of your voice do not match. You're using big words, but your tone is absolutely flat. It has got no emotion invested in it. These are crimes against the state, as my friend Sujay pointed out. You have to take these things extremely seriously. Fast-track courts do not come into the picture unless and until the investigation is complete. And please stop.
The lawyers, we have 4 lawyers on this panel.
So it doesn't mean that
Section 166A that very clearly says that if a police officer does not file an FIR, he has to be arrested. Where is the arrest? If you were serious, to the Chief Minister of Haryana, if you were serious, if you actually meant to send a clear message, that particular duty officer should have been arrested. Why is his name being kept a secret? Why is it that nobody in the police station will tell us who was on duty at that time?
Taken action on.
What action? What action are you talking about, Renu Bhatia? What action? Please tell me what action.
What we have come to know from the SP Sonipat is that police has already filed a FIR the very moment the parents came to the police station, and police people went for the investigation to the area where the girl lives. So now,
after she was dead, Renu Bhatia, Yogita Bhayana, this is the problem. This is the problem with our system, Yogita.
No, before the news came,
they're defending the police again and again. I mean, enough.
The police was working on this.
The police were not working. I've proven to you on television that the police was not working. The SP Sonipat has accepted. He has used the word I accept that the parents came to me and we did not file a complaint because a compromise was achieved.
So that every day you need a BJP spokesperson on this issue. I am ready to come every day on this issue. I don't mind.
But that's pointless unless you give me some real answers, Renu Bhatia.
With the police also.
You're unable to give me any real answers. Yogita Bhayana, I'm not getting any answers, and this is the point. I start the show calmly every evening and then I completely lose my temper because it's frustrating.
I mean, she is protecting police. Again, the last night also the panelists, they were protecting police. I don't know what's wrong with them. It is so unbearable to even hear them, you know, we just lose it. And secondly, she said Chief Minister is in touch with the family. What kind of a touch is it? Why doesn't he get connected the similar way when he has to go for ribbon cuttings, for other stuff, you know? Why it is not his priority to meet the family? I spoke to the family members. Being citizens of this country, we are feeling so pained. We wanted to meet them. Why can't a head of the family, who is supposed to be the Chief Minister,
makes sense? It doesn't make any
sense. By the way, the Chief Minister is not in touch with the family. He is in touch with the police. The Chief Minister is not in touch with the family.
Absolutely. And Fame, what statement he is giving? He is saying ये ऐसे पहले भी केस हुआ था, हम आगे से ऐसा मतलब ऐसे केसेस में अरेस्ट जल्दी करेंगे. Why can't he say कि ऐसे केसेस होने ही नहीं देंगे? हम ऐसा कुछ करेंगे कि ऐसा एक भी केस रिपोर्ट ना हो. Have you ever heard from him? He says कि अब से ऐसा होगा तो हम अरेस्ट जल्दी करेंगे. Look at the mentality. They don't even think about protection. They don't even talk about, you know, kind of prevention. They only talk about ये हो जाएगा तो ऐसे कर लेंगे.
ऐसा केस पहले हुआ था और हमने उसके ऊपर स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन लिया फास्ट कोर्ट ट्रैक से.
अरे आप एक्शन ही लेते रहेंगे केसेस होने के बाद प्रोटेक्ट.
Let me also point out to our audience, this is also a comment made by the Chief Minister of Haryana on women. The Chief Minister of Haryana, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar, said at an event where he was celebrating 50 years of Haryana that the case of a double murder and gang rape of 2 sisters was a trivial issue and could have happened anywhere in the country. He said, these trivial issues, I don't pay much attention, these are small issues. Today we should be talking about our Savarna Jayanti celebrations and the achievement of the Haryana government and not bringing up these trivial issues. This is a statement from the Chief Minister of Haryana, from a man who constantly makes statements in this light, in this vein. What can we expect? Why should we expect anything different? Why should we expect him to actually visit the family? Why should we expect him to pay attention when another daughter of the state has been treated like an animal and ripped apart limb for limb? Why should we expect him to empathize? To imagine what that girl might have been going through? To imagine what that father might have been going through when he was called in to identify his daughter's body and realized that she had no face? That parts of her had been eaten away. Where is his heart? What gives him the right to continue to call himself Chief Minister of Haryana and continue to call himself Home Minister of Haryana? He is an embarrassment. And here we are showing you over and over again that your police is hand in glove with the accused, and you come here and tell me that the Chief Minister is in touch with the police. That is not good enough. If the Chief Minister is in touch with the police, in the very least, he's getting a wrong picture. At the very worst, he's protecting them. None of that is good. Swapnil Kothari.
Faye, as I think one of the lawyers out there, I think Sneha Mukherjee pointed out, when you go, excuse me, Ms. Bhatia, let me finish, please. We've heard you, Ms. Bhatia, let me finish. We've heard you. We've heard you. There's enough platitudes coming out from your way. Let me finish, please. What I'm saying is that when Sneha Mukherjee talked about the fact that there was some caste differences because this girl belonged to the Dalit. Faye, I'd like to point out one thing, especially in the northern areas, the northern states, you have this caste system so prevalent and so rife, and it is so deep-rooted into the mindset of the people that people of higher castes occupy these administrative positions of police, etc. And then when a Dalit girl gets raped, or stalked or assaulted, or if a Dalit boy also gets murdered, they do not look into it as seriously as they were to look into it, or they don't look into it at all as they were to look into it if a person from a higher caste would have met the same fate. So it is a deep-rooted. That's the reason why the police, to sort of cover themselves up on this issue, have filed a section of the SC/ST also under the SC/ST Act, the atrocities of SC/ST Act, which clearly points out that they want to cover this up and show that they are not casteist. Because normally in this kind of situations, you go straight under the IPC sections. You don't involve that section at all. You can if you wish to, but these are the main primary sections of IPC which are sufficient enough to nail the accused. And this mindset is prevalent.
There is a release that has come out over the last few days from the Sonipat police station, which says very clearly, and this is the SP being quoted in his own press release saying, we have recovered the Santro and the bricks. The woman's mother in question, in a supplementary statement, has given us names of 6 others she believes to also be involved, in which case the family said repeatedly, this is not the job of 2 people. This is the job of more people. Please question more people. Do not shut the case after arresting 2 people. The family had to beg the police to do their job. Uday Sahay, if you were in charge of this Sonipat police station, what action would you be taking right now, given the evidence you've heard so far? What would you have done?
Well, I think 3 things very clearly emerge out of the situation that I have come across in this particular case. 1, not only you register the case, you make sure that all accused are caught. And they are not hardened criminals who are trained to hide. And it won't be difficult to nab them. That's 1. And that should be the immediate step. But at the same time, guys who have resisted in registering a case should be named and shamed and sacked. Plain and simple, they should be suspended. And third, what is more shocking is that an IPS officer sitting in the position of Superintendent of Police is trying to cover up something which is not there in the law at all, and he should be removed from the police station, from the district. These 3 things immediately come to my mind in handling this. If you were to send a strong signal that you are for not only Dalit, for women in Haryana.
Well, this is a very clear list. Renu Bhatia, if you truly are serious, and this is coming from a very respected officer of the law who says, get the people arrested, arrest and remove and name and shame the police officer who did not file the FIR, and the SP Sonipat must go. Does the government of Haryana have the stomach to carry out these instructions?
See, I really regard the police officer who was just giving his advice, but I can always say this, that I will be in touch with the police tomorrow morning, asking the results of the case.
Does the government of Haryana have the stomach to follow the advice that Uday Sahay has given you?
Given by the family, and I will myself talk to the CM tomorrow for this case, and I'll get back to you.
Well, this means nothing. This means nothing because just yesterday, Mr. Raman Malik sat in that very chair and said the exact same thing. I will get in touch with the Chief Minister. I will check with the people on the ground. I will speak to the police. None of that has changed. Where is Raman Malik? Where are his promises? By the way, the panel is the same. Same set of people who were here last night who remember everything that Raman Malik said to us. Where is Raman Malik today? Where are the promises? At what point will you people start taking your promises seriously, Renu Bhatia?
I can get back to you Because it's not the question of a girl being murdered like this, it's a question of a woman, and I'm a woman too. So I'll get back to you tomorrow for this case. And I will talk to the CM also.
Exactly. We are all on this panel today because we wanted results. We wanted results which were promised yesterday, that I'll see to it that I crack down. We don't want you to get back to us. We want results. We want action. Why should you talk to the cops tomorrow? Why not just now after this debate and before this debate?
Let's be a bit social too, to work.
Where is the question of being social? We are being absolutely social. We want answers as citizens.
Hear him out.
Exactly. You are supposed to answer us.
Right now. Why don't you call him? You must be having direct approach with him, right?
You know,
why not you call him right now on the show and ask him?
Ms. Bhatia, if you
imagine
really
if this was your relative, what would you have done? Just because this girl is nobody, has no political force.
Madam, call him right now. Please call him right now. Please call him right now.
If you really wish to get back to us,
let us also hear what he has to say.
Ms. Bhatia, if you really wish to get back to us, come back with the Chief Minister.
No, actually,
we really appreciate that if he comes on television.
Yogita Bhayana has a very good ask. She's saying call him right now.
Correct.
You're live on television.
Yes,
call the Chief Minister right now. Pick up your phone. I'm sure it's in your hand.
I'll get back to you because I know my CM is working.
Make the phone call right now.
What is more important than this?
What
work is more important than this?
This is very important, madam.
Why is it not visible then?
This is very important case, you know. If at all you think it is, why not
Madam, you have to send a message to all those people, all those people who are watching this show today, all the people who are watching this debate today. You should make such a statement that should send shivers down their spine. No man in Haryana should ever dare to do this again.
I want to ask Sneha Mukherjee
this question. That is the message you should send.
Sneha Mukherjee, you live in Delhi. I'm sure you spent some time in Gurgaon. Gurgaon is part of Haryana. What is Gurgaon like for women, Sneha? Tell us what Gurgaon is like for women.
It is scary. I would agree. Because every time we travel from Delhi to Gurgaon, especially in the evening hours, we think twice. I think we think twice before traveling there. And I think it is not just us. It is even more so for the women who actually live in Haryana. And I actually wanted to point out this earlier, but then when we're talking about these cases, I was in Haryana in one of the districts in Sunday, and we could pull out a case of about 50 gang rapes that have happened over the past 4 years. And the surprising fact is, out of those 50 cases, in 40 cases, the cases have been closed because apparently compromise was pulled out between both the families. And the police has done absolutely nothing in those cases.
And to add to what Ms. Mukherjee is saying, there can't be a compromise in these kind of things. There can't be a compromise.
How can the police close a case?
Day before yesterday, that girl from Northeast, we read in the paper.
No arrest, by the way.
No arrest, by the way. She was picked up from outside her house. After she went, after she had dinner, she was picked up and she was gang raped. She repeatedly requested, so they let her go. Where is the question? I mean, where have they been made any arrest?
I just want
Not a single person is arrested.
I want to point out to Renu Bhatia. Renu Bhatia, we live in a country where a woman can get kidnapped from outside her house and she has to beg for her life. After she was gang raped in a car for 5 hours in the city of Gurgaon, she had to beg for her life so she could be let go, and those people wouldn't kill her in order to bury the evidence, in order not to be identified. Because obviously the police in Haryana is so inefficient that if you kill your victim, they will never find you. Because they have absolutely no access to any sort of investigation. They have absolutely no access to any sort of moral compass to know that they should do their jobs. There is zero respect for law. There is zero respect for the police because the police are completely corrupt. How can you please explain to me, Renu Bhatia, representative of the government of Haryana, explain to me how you can reach a compromise in 40 cases of gang rape? What is this compromise that you people have gotten so good at? What are you compromising? Please tell me. What part of our bodies qualify for compromise in the book of the government of Haryana?
This is not a subject of compromise.
Qualify as compromise? Please, as a woman and a representative of that government, tell me, what part of our bodies are you compromising with?
I don't think this is a subject of compromise in any law. Neither socially nor in law this is a subject of compromise. So whoever does that is equally a victim and should be punished equally. That is what I said, that I'll talk to my CM tomorrow about this case and get back to you again. And
oh my.
Please, I think this is enough. I think, Ms. Bhatia, let's be a little bit more mature. Let us be sensitive to this issue. And these are 40 cases that we mentioned which are reported. I do not know the number of unreported cases that go like this.
FIRs
exactly.
No FIRs are filed. Nothing happens. It's all gone down the tube and buried under the carpet. Just to give you two simple examples, when Brexit happens, the English Prime Minister resigns. When there is a bomb blast in France, the French Prime Minister resigns. Do we even have something of that moral compass which Faye talks about, which Faye just now talked about and mentioned here? As far as cops are concerned, the SP of Sonipat should resign first, even before he comes and starts defending his fellow police officers.
Exactly.
And CM Khattar should also step down, because if he's unable to do something and you are telling that you will talk to him, I think you should have just given him a call, as Yogita pointed out, right now, and bring him on the channel here so we can have a little bit of 2-minute conversation with him. We'll address him as honourable. Please do not worry about that.
This is not important enough. To the Chief Minister of Haryana, this is not important enough. He has called this in the past. He's called this trivial issues. He said, I don't pay attention to these small issues. If it was important enough, he would have visited the family. He would have at least offered platitudes, which he has not even done. If it was important enough, he would have paid attention to the fact that his police officers were making him look really bad. This is really bad for the Chief Minister.
Exactly.
He looks like someone who doesn't care about his own people.
Every day the same answer.
Every day the same answers.
Haryana government already visited the family. They met the family and spoke to them.
Listen, either you want me to treat the Haryana government as one entity, in which case you as a representative have compromised 40 cases of gang rape. You cannot choose that in some cases, some representative of the Haryana government is the Chief Minister. In which case, then you as a representative of the Haryana government should answer as the Chief Minister and give me the answers. You don't have any answers. You can't give me a single answer. You can't give me a single promise. How is it then that some random representative of the government of Haryana who visited the family is as good as the Chief Minister? What sort of promise would that representative have been able to offer the family? Yesterday, the victim's father was on this show. And he told us that they prepared and they waited for the Chief Minister, and he was distraught when he found out the Chief Minister, who was 8 kilometers away, decided to turn his cavalcade around and go back because he had something else more important to do. Call us on the phone right now. Frank is on the phone line. Frank, go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead, we can hear you.
Yes. I have a question for your Ms. Bhatia. Your CM in Haryana doesn't have what Winston Churchill called that couple.
Right. Okay. So why won't the CM in Haryana actually visit the family? Why won't the CM in Haryana actually come out and make a strong statement? I want to go across to Uday Sahay, who's a former DCP Delhi. Mr. Sahay, when the police refuses to file FIRs, when the police is actually compromising gang rape cases, is this a clear sign of either political interference or caste-based interference, Mr. Sahay?
Well, I think there is a strong bias in the mind of the police in terms of the class background of the victim, one. And two, they feel that, it can be really compromised and without understanding the provision of law. And coming as it does from a lower subordinate, one can still understand their lack of understanding of gender equality issue. But I am surprised that even the district chief is speaking the same language. And he doesn't understand what he is talking about. And this is very, very surprising through this channel. It is important, therefore, to communicate loud and clear to the whole country that, look, compromises of this kind in criminal law as it is not allowed. It is not possible. And in a case like this, you can't even talk about it. And still the district chief is talking about it. And he feels there is nothing wrong in doing this.
Therefore, the chief himself has not read the police manual. This is the state of affairs.
Imagine
that the police themselves have not read their own manual. They don't know what laws govern them. If they don't know what laws govern them, how will they apply it to others? This is pathetic.
And you know, Faye, one of the most key things which has happened today is that the car has been obtained, has been found out, and the bricks also. The bricks would definitely have, if not those same bricks which have been kept back into the car, blood samples. And, it's very evident that there cannot be just 2 people. There have to be more than that. It's an autopsy report has said that it's a gang rape. A gang rape means more than 2, 3, 4 people. So it's the parents who have to come with the next 6 people and give them that, look, please look into these 6 boys. And as Ms. Bhatia pointed out that the boys are being looked after, I think they are being really looked after.
Really looked
Actually
after.
looked after.
I want to bring in Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, unfortunately, Sanjay Jha, our political class of every single political party, and I have the list on my desk, have been disrespectful to women, have set bad examples, have constantly belittled victims of rape, have constantly questioned the morality of the family and the victims, have constantly placed the onus of proof on the victim. We have our political class to blame, Sanjay, and nobody, not one political party in our country has ejected a member of their party for being disrespectful. Not one has removed them from a powerful post. Nobody has shown us the spine that it actually takes to get the job done.
Faye, I'll be very upfront with you. I think, as long as we keep taking these human deaths, tragedy, of epic proportions as just one mere statistic, I don't think we're going to see any reformation or transformation happening. And I'm very happy to actually see the kind of palpable outrage on your channel, because my personal view is when the governments we elect don't deliver, whichever political party, I think civil society has to get more active. Our job is not just to vote once and then get politically aware after 5 years. You have to continuously
this is the unfortunate thing. These are the same people who ask us for our votes, who tell us our votes are not enough.
Basic minimum expectations.
That we have to come out into the streets and constantly protest in order to get simple justice.
गलतियां तो हो जाती है कभी जवानी में and all that, those kind of statements. That is what we have to avoid. We have to send a clear message that our women should feel safe. They
like
can roam around
beings.
anywhere. They can use any auto, any Ola, any Uber. They are absolutely safe in this country. We take pride in the freedom of our women and their freedom to move around and shoulder to shoulder work with us. If this is the kind of approach, then definitely it is going to send very wrong signals, and that should be avoided. The BJP spokesperson should be more careful in when she speaks and get better instructions rather than just reading out the same stereotype lines that she is reading out. That's not the way.
She should care more. Allow yourself, Renu Bhatia, to empathize. Empathize with the girl who had sharp things inserted into her. Empathize with the girl who was snatched outside of her house, who was kidnapped, who was gang raped repeatedly, who then had her head smashed in over and over again with a brick until she was dead. Then they ran over her face with a car until she was no longer recognizable. Then they dumped her in an empty plot until maggots and dogs fed on her. Empathize. Renu Bhatia, think of what that girl would have gone through. Think of what her mother would have gone through. Think of what her father would have gone through. And stop offering us these answers. Offer us something real.
I at the very beginning said that it's a really shameful event which has taken place, and it's a mind-breaking incident. So again and again, if I say the same words, then you will also say.
And if you say the same words, you are breaking my mind, Renu Bhatia.
That shows that is how
we are taking action.
You are not.
So lame. I wish you would have said, Renu, I wish you would have said it is a shameful act that the police have done. It is shameful that the police did not manage to stop this. It is shameful that the police in this case failed. The police in Haryana are shameful and they should hang their heads in shame, and we will not rest until we have resignations of the CP of the SP of Sonipat, and until we have the name of the officer in duty who did not file that FIR, until he is thrown behind bars. I will not let this story go. I have to wrap up this conversation now, but I promise you this. I promise you this, to our viewers, to Renu Bhatia, to Raman Malik, to Manohar Lal Khattar, to the Prime Minister of this country. Nirbhaya again. And there will not be another one. Because if it takes that, then the women of this country will come back onto the street in front of your houses And we will not return to our kitchens because that is not our place. Our rightful place is to take our stand as citizens, as human beings, with dignity, which you are not giving us. Do not make us stand up against our own government, because we will if we have to. Stop ignoring us. Enough is enough. Acknowledge one half of this country. Acknowledge the fact that you have failed. Promise us that you will do better. That is all we ask tonight.